Hi guys, and welcome to another my best 11 from the series I started a couple of months back. And this one's going to be a bit more recent for the younger lot, much like my guest today. We're going to be focusing more on what Ben from the FPL graduates uh, best 11 is with the current Premier League season. So it should be a lot of fun. So before that, Ben, thank you so much for joining. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited, because there's a lot of good options in the Premier League right now, and there's a lot of exciting players. So I'm looking forward to getting into it and seeing how this team comes out.
Yeah, so normal format is I prepare a list of 33 players, and to make sure that my guests are kind of switched on, I put a couple of kind of like spanners in the work there, and
Okay.
Ben was on it straight away. Ben said, "All right, Ray, remove him, remove him, remove him." I tried to get Bukayo Saka in
Yeah, I
there,
saw you
but
tried sneaking a couple of the Arsenal boys in. I wasn't having any of it at all. So
he kept Aubameyang in there, but I think that was just as a favour to me.
yeah,
So
I've got a lot of friends that are Arsenal fans, so I've got to keep them happy and at least keep them on the shortlist.
brilliant. So So basically, the good thing as well, Ben is the first guest who is not selecting a 4-4-2. So you can see he's a man of the recent times because 4-4-2 is pretty much dead in the water now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very rarely that you see in the modern day two generic strikers up top, right? And a lot of teams in the Premier League are like switching to the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, even some five-back formations. So we're moving on with the times.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we start that, Ben, who is your favorite Premier League player and why? And remember, current Premier League player. And remember, this is not form related. If every single player was fit.
Oh, I mean, if they're fit and firing and like based on their ability, Kevin De Bruyne is a wonderful player to watch. He's got a range of passing which I haven't seen from many players ever, to be honest. And he just gets in that pocket of space. And when he's on form, I don't think anyone in the world stops him. And I'll put out another player that I've really been enjoying recently, and it's Rafinha of Leeds. I think he's going to go really, really far in his career. And to be honest, I can't see him staying at Leeds too long. But he kind of has similar traits to De Bruyne, but yeah, one of them really, really exciting players off the wing. And I'm looking forward to seeing how his career progresses.
First part, I agree. I think after Eden Hazard left the Premier League, I think De Bruyne and Van Dijk are kind of battling for who the best player in the Premier League is. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
When De Bruyne is on form, what can't he do? He even has a
Exactly.
turn of pace. I think this season his finishing's been a bit whack, but I think he'll get that back
Yeah,
up.
he's had a lot of injuries and stuff this season, but we've seen like the past couple of games, he started showing what he is capable of from last season. And I mean, did you see that goal against Mönchengladbach? Like he hits it with his weak foot top corner from about 25 yards out. I don't know many players in the world that'll be able to do that.
5-star weak foot, yeah.
Must be, yeah.
And in regards to Rafinha, I agree with you. I think in the summer someone might try and get him, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah.
He is literally their star man right now. His set piece delivery is fantastic every time. It really is.
Yeah. He's the world's best just eat delivery man, isn't it? Because he always gets it.
Yeah.
Gets it on the spot. It's just your favorite player, Bamford, can't answer the call. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. I want to find out about that at the end of the video, mate. Offline, okay. I want to find out about that.
Okay.
Okay, so with a 4-3-3, we're going to start at the back. So, please, Ben. So basically, sorry, before I go on, like I said, I gave the list of players, 3 selections per position. Ben quality checked it, and he changed one from Lloris to Martinez, which I actually fully agree with, because I must say, I think Lloris is overrated. I don't think he's actually that good. I was very happy with the choices you made. So, please, mate, who'd you select and why? Remember, sorry, Ben, it doesn't have to be form related. Sorry, mate.
See, I know you said it doesn't have to be form related, but I truly do believe, like in my head, that he is the best keeper in the league. And Josh will back me up on this one. I've been saying since 2 years ago he'll be the best keeper in the Premier League. Best keeper I've ever seen live. Emi Martinez, 100%. I pick him over Alisson and Ederson because I've never seen a player live do some of the stuff in goal that he can do. His reaction time is phenomenal. His saves, incredible. His kicking is great as well. I think he is the most complete keeper in the Premier League right now. Alisson, we've seen mistakes from him. Ederson, really good at distribution, but hasn't quite got as good a shot-stopping ability. And I think Martinez kind of encompasses both of Alisson and Ederson's attributes into one keeper. And I think he is the best keeper in the Premier League. People may say I'm deluded, yes, but, you know, he was at Reading for a while. And I can't argue past Martinez. People will disagree with it, probably, but I truly do believe he is the best keeper in the Premier League.
I haven't seen him have a bad game yet. And he's played, crazy. What, like 50 Premier League games?
He's so consistent. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was one of the Arsenal fans who wanted Leno to go. I couldn't believe we kept Leno, considering he hadn't played for 6 months. It was insane. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So controversy to start off. I like it. If you don't know about Ben, he's very much a maverick FPL player, so I'm not too surprised with Martinez.
I don't know about maverick. Maybe takes a punt and it fails.
Brilliant. So we've got Martinez at the back. We'll go to right back now, pal. And thoughts? Okay,
this is a difficult one because we've obviously seen Alexander-Arnold. He's shown his strengths last season and his weaknesses this season. But I'm going to discount Kyle Walker from this one, I think, because I think he's just not quite to the level that I think Trent Alexander-Arnold and Cancelo are at. And it's a tough one. And I'm going to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold because of his attacking output down that right. I think in a good team, we've seen him. He's fantastic and almost unstoppable at times. And yeah, I mean, if he's in my dream 11 for the Premier League, I think he's got to be in there because, you know, he's going to be around a great team. So he's going to have that output from the right-hand side. So I'm going to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold.
And I guess he'll have the defensive support, isn't it?
He will. He definitely will.
Without Jordan Henderson, he's all over the place for Liverpool, isn't he? He's got no one to protect him.
He is. I agree. It's very close with Cancelo, though. It has to be said, because I think throughout his career, he has been quite fantastic. And especially this season, he's found something under Guardiola. He's found his almost position that he's destined to play in. And it's a close one, but I'll just give it to Trent on this one.
Funny enough, I feel both of them can play centre midfield, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been saying that. I said because England have so many right backs.
Oh, too many.
Yeah, you could play him. You could play him in centre defensive mid because that's what happened to Gerrard, right? He started at right back early on in his career, and then ended up moving forwards into midfield, and then did what he done for Liverpool. So who knows? Maybe that can happen one day for Alexander-Arnold because, you know, Liverpool seem to have injuries all the time. And if they happen to be short in midfield, maybe he could fill in.
Yeah. So Trent would be a right back in the Euros, I assume, based on.
Yeah. I think so. I think for the Euros, Liverpool got to pick up form because he's been dropped out, and I think it's probably a good thing for him that he's not in this international break. Because I was talking to a few people at uni, and we all agreed that this is kind of like a kick up the backside for him. Yeah. In terms of, right, you need to actually start realising your form of last season and get back to it. And he's probably our best right back, but, you know, Southgate's going to pick it on form at the end of the season. So he's got to pick it up, but I think technically he's probably the best in the league.
Brilliant. On the left?
See, I'm going to go I'm not going to go for the obvious choice in Robertson here. I'm going to go for Lucas Digne.
You haven't gone for an obvious choice at all yet.
It's just what I'm like. I think Digne over his whole career as well has had a fantastic career so far. He's been at all the big clubs and now he's at Everton. I think he should be at a club in the Champions League. Really, his set piece delivery is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and he does everything right. You rarely see Everton concede a goal from that left side and from Lucas Digne, and
good point.
Yeah, he just consistently 7 or 8 out of 10s every game, no matter what happens in the game. So I'm going to give it Lucas Digne. I'd say on form this season, Luke Shaw's in with a shout, and in terms of an overall quality left back, Robertson's also in with a shout. But I'll give it Lucas Digne for the combined attacking output that he provides, and defensively he's really solid, and we've seen that with Everton this season. They've been flying, and Digne's been a big reason behind that.
I actually can't argue too much. I mean, I'd pick Robertson, but Digne would be second choice.
Yeah.
He was one of the spanners I threw in there when I put in. I don't even know who I put in. I think I put in Chilwell.
Yeah, I think you put in Chilwell,
and you very quickly said no. But I agree with you. When does Digne ever really make any technical mistake? You're right. A lot of the goals they concede is never through Digne because we see a lot of errors nowadays. But and also his set piece delivery is brilliant. I think Everton have a world-class left back playing under a world-class manager. I think Ancelotti's one of the best 5 in the world. So yeah, really interested to see what he will do. Regarding Shaw, I know I'm relating all of this to the Euros. Would you play him as left back in the Euros, or would you go Chilwell?
I'd go Shaw 100%. I think he's just playing too well this season to ignore him. And if you've got a player playing that well, it is silly not to play him, because more than likely he's going to continue that form into the Euros. He's playing this well because he wants to be in that squad for the Euros. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, I'd give Shaw that left spot at the moment, 100%. Like Chilwell, he's been rotated in and out. He had a great start to the season, but he has been rotating with Alonso, and I think you need to be playing someone at the Euros who's consistently playing well every week, and Luke Shaw's doing that at the moment.
Yeah, it's like the Southampton Shaw, isn't it? The one that was brilliant. But yeah, no, I fully agree. We'll go on. This one, even myself, I found a bit tough. It was really out of 3 players to pick 2, but
yeah. I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, you got the first 3, and I think that's who we're going to be picking out of them. I appreciate Stones as a good ball playing centre back, but just isn't up to the quality of the other 3. Maguire, I don't rate too highly. I think he's a bit slow on the turn for me, and yes, he's good in the air. He's good when he's got the whole play in front of him, but on the turn, he's not too great. And so I'm going to go, my first one's going to be Ruben Dias. And I think he's had a similar impact on this City defence as when Van Dijk came into Liverpool.
Agreed.
They've shored it up at the back. And I think Dias instantly, within a season, has put himself up there as one of the best centre-backs in Europe at the moment. And I mean, we're looking at that Portugal squad now, and it's looking a bit scary with the squad depth that they have. I was looking at it the other day. They've got 2 to 3 world-class players in every position at the moment. So I'm going to go Ruben Dias. And then my other centre-back, I'm going to go Van Dijk. I know he's been injured this season, but you can't ignore what he did for Liverpool last season. I think he was probably the main catalyst for them securing that title in the end and securing all the honours that they have. And I think since he's come in, he's been the star man at the back, and he's been so crucial for Liverpool's success.
I fully agree. I think Diaz is they finally replaced Company, because Pep Guardiola has been buying centre halves like no one's business. He's not very good at it,
Yeah.
Stones, Ake, what other clowns do you buy? Otamendi. He spent like 40-50 million pound per player.
It's like 50 million a piece, and he's probably looking back thinking, I've spent 250 million on a load of nothing. But
good centre half.
One good one.
And I fully agree with you. He's Van Dijk pretty much. And I think the 2 of them together, it would just be unstoppable.
I mean,
So that's brilliant.
City were in the race for Van Dijk at one point, weren't they? Could you imagine them two together? I think you may as well just give him the title and for the next
Forget
like
about
three,
it.
4
Yeah,
years, get on with
exactly.
it.
Brilliant. So in the 4-3-3, we've gone for pivot, kind of
Yeah,
the CDM who'll sit in
yeah.
front of the two defenders. So the three options were here. All three can
All three
perhaps have an
fantastic.
argument. Yeah.
I'm probably going to go for one that you're not expecting again. I'm going to go Wilfred Ndidi for this one. I think he has been the main reason behind Leicester's success in recent seasons. I think I saw when he was injured and when he was out injured, that was when Leicester's downturn of form, and that was when everyone was questioning whether they're going to get Champions League. He's come back in, they started winning again, and they beat the big teams when he's in that squad. I think he's by far the best defensive midfielder in the league. He covers everything well, and in games sometimes you don't notice him, but when you don't notice him, that's when he's doing his job the best. And I can't look past him. As good as Kante is, and I think he is up there, world class. But Ndidi, in terms of a defensive midfielder, the best in the league and probably the most underrated player in the whole league. He's incredible.
Damn, yeah. I'm just going to say agree. Absolutely. You're right about Ndidi, man. I mean, the big boys are going to be knocking on that door, aren't they? They have 100%. To be. The guy is incredible. And I think Kante is still amazing, but he's not as good as he was maybe a year or two ago. And Fabinho, it's kind of tough to judge him right now, isn't it? Because he's been playing centre half for so damn long this season.
He's a good option as a CDM. I think that's exactly what Liverpool needed in terms of a pivot, because they got so much attacking prowess going forward. So indeed he holds down that Leicester team, and he allows the likes of Maddison, Tielemans, Barnes, all of that lot to get forward and really create without having to worry about it. Like, he can cover that whole area by himself. And he even pops up with a couple of assists here and there as well.
Yeah. He allows the likes of Maddison and Tielemans to just kind of express themselves a bit more. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. So far, it's a stacked team, but a lot of controversy, which should be fun online, actually. I hope so.
Hopefully. Makes a good consent.
Hell yeah. Checks in the mail. Now, 2 out of the 6 here. Go with your first option first, and why? I really feel it's obvious, but,
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with the guy I mentioned at the start. I'm going to go for Kevin De Bruyne. Even out of form and out of fitness and shape as we've seen him this season, he's been pretty fantastic in areas. And yeah, I mean, City picked him up from Wolfsburg, was it? And he's just hit the ground running. And yeah, when he's fit, most consistent player in the league, gets assists left, right, and centre, and in that City team as well. I mean, he's ridiculous, and you can't look past him. He's as you said, one of the best since maybe Hazard left the Premier League, and why wouldn't you go and pick Kevin De Bruyne?
Before you get to option 2, so when Jose won his 3rd Premier League under Chelsea in his 2nd spell. The following season, they had Hull at home in their first game of the season, and a really good friend of mine said, "Ray, why don't you come?" And I was like, "Yeah, wicked. Don't have to pay for the ticket and stuff." And I watched this ginger genius playing for Chelsea called De Bruyne, and I never ever have heard of him before. And he got a couple of goals. It might have been against Hull, I don't know. And he was absolutely brilliant. And that was at the time. I think they also had Salah in their squad.
Yeah. Can you imagine their team now?
And I saw him and I was like, this guy's amazing. Who the hell is this De Bruyne? Yeah. And they sold him, went to Wolfsburg, smashed out of the park. At that time, I was a huge FIFA player, so I got all the cards on Ultimate Team, to get De Bruyne, as you do. And when Man City got him, I was like, oh, he's going to be brilliant. But who would have thought he would have ascended like this? Yeah. He could be one of the best midfielders the Premier League's ever had. Legit. He's amazing.
If he kind of rejuvenates his form back to how it was last season, there's no reason why he can't be in the conversation at least. Yeah.
And next to him?
I'm going to go for the other obvious choice. I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes. I'm not Frank Lampard, so I'm gonna steer away from Mount. I'm going to go for Bruno Fernandes. And I'm going to go for the reasoning that he's changed that Manchester United team from their banter era to challenging again for titles. And he's done that single-handedly, I reckon. His goals and assist contribution is ridiculous. He's averaging something like almost a goal or an assist every single game that he plays.
Correct.
And if you're doing that, if you've got that sort of output, you're going to be class. And I think we could see the conversation steering towards who's the best ever Premier League midfielder, Bruno or De Bruyne in seasons to come, because they've both been fantastic. And I can't see Bruno slowing down, to be honest, because I don't know what it is about him. He just manages to get in the pockets of space, get in the positions where the opponents don't think he's going to be, and he pops up with an assist, or he pops up with a goal out of nowhere. And the goals and assists he gets, there's such a wide range that he produces. Like we've seen him, I remember him scoring that header against Everton. He scores screamers like he did the other week. He scored an absolute worldie, and then he's also there for tap-ins and to set up for that final ball. So I think he's that missing piece of the jigsaw United have been screaming out for years. And yeah, he's got to be in my team for that reason.
His average of a return per game is outrageous, because he was doing it for Benfica beforehand. Was it Benfica? Sporting. Sorry, he was doing it with them beforehand as well, and he's just kept it up. And I agree with you, especially with all that attacking talent that they have as well. I agree. I don't think it will stop, and I think he's going to get better. I legit think he'll get better. And I think 10 years down the line, I agree with you. I think he'll be ranked as one of the top 10, 15 best central midfielders ever in the Premier League. I'm talking Scholes, Vieira. Yeah, I agree
100%,
with you. 100%. And if they add like a Haaland, for example, imagine how many more returns Bruno will get.
It's probably not likely, but we can always dream, can't we, of that sort of link up happening between two players.
Jesus Christ.
I think for Premier League fans anyway, we want to see Haaland in the Premier League. It's just where he's going to go. I think it's more likely to be City because of the finances. But
do you think he would fit? Because, and I'll tell you why. Because I think for 2 seasons, Guardiola has really been trying to do this false nine, and I think he's finally got it now. He's finally got it to a point where he doesn't need a striker to be. He doesn't need a striker in the team to get the results he needed, because I think he's been testing it the last couple of years, and now finally. You can see, if I picked a Man City team right now, I wouldn't have Jesus or Aguero in it.
Yeah.
Now, if Haaland comes in, I feel he needs to break it again, if that makes sense.
I think we've seen Guardiola be quite flexible with his formations, especially this season. We've seen him go from play 3 centre-backs, Laporte, Diaz and Walker in there together with Cancelo moving up to midfield. And then he's also played a flat back 4. And I think in the bigger games, what he's looking at is you always need that striker who can pop up and get a goal if you're struggling. Yeah. And Haaland is that player. And I think he needs to get him, because they haven't won the Champions League yet. And I think he'd be that missing piece, when they're struggling, when they're down and they need a goal from somewhere, he's going to be that guy to pop up. And I get what you mean, that they've been playing that false nine sort of thing before. But we've seen Guardiola before play with a system where he has that true number 9 up front. So you can look at it both ways. But I think in terms of the competition for Europe, I think if you buy him, you take away the opportunity for another club in the Champions League to get him, and I think that's probably just as crucial.
Yeah. Do you think? I love how we're just talking about anything and everything. It's quite good, actually. It's quite entertaining, and it's nice that it's not FPL related.
Yeah.
But do you think Man City? Who do you think will win the Champions League this season? Because I personally think it will be Man City.
See, I've said from the start that I think it's going to be Bayern Munich again. I think they're too strong, so I'm going to stand by that, because I kind of like to stick to my predictions that I make. I always do that when I'm watching Reading. I'll say a prediction, even if it's wrong at halftime. I'll just stick with that. So I'll stick with my prediction of Bayern Munich because I think that their whole squad in general is too strong. But if there's going to be one team to break that Bayern mold and that Bayern winning philosophy, it'll be Guardiola's Manchester City.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, by the way, we got this Dream Team stream. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
we'll go to the right now.
no, this is a. Is it a tough one? No, I don't think it is.
Can I add something?
Go for it.
Yeah. Funny enough, I almost look at Mahrez and Salah as the same player sometimes. The way they play, what they're trying to do. But I think Mahrez, if Salah didn't have the goals, I think he'd be a very good player because he's not creative because I think he's instructed not to be. But also, I don't think he's actually got that ability to thread an eye through the needle kind of thing, like the likes of Mahrez and Grealish. But I mean, I'm not obviously trying to manipulate you here. I would pick Salah, but it's only for the reasons that he gets the goals.
Yeah, I agree with the passing aspect, but I think when you're in that sort of position, you don't need to pass. You just need to be greedy and get the goals, and that's the sort of player Salah is. So I think I definitely will pick him. I mean, Mahrez and Grealish, they're both fantastic players. They really are. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mahrez because there's been a couple of rumours about his contract and he's not signed it yet and that sort of thing. So interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, Salah, you can't look past him. The past few seasons, he's been the most consistent player in the Premier League. He's scoring a tremendous amount of goals, really, considering the other attacking talent that's in that Liverpool team. He just finds a way to get that goal, and the way he takes on a man and beats him and puts him on the left foot every time. And you know what he's going to do with the ball, and you just can't stop it. So yeah, I'm going to put Salah in there. I think it'd be probably a bit rude not to.
Excellent. So that's the right wing. The left wing or wing forward, I think this could be the hardest out of all of them, but tell me. I think it's really out of two. It's a tough one, man.
You can argue a point for every single one.
Yeah, even Rashford.
Even Rashford. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go for Heung-min Son in this one. I think just his goal output is just a bit better, and I think he's been a bit more instrumental in his team and a bit more important in that role. And he's taken Spurs to a new height of pressuring, even more than they have done in previous years. So yeah, I'll go Heung-min Son. But Mane and Rashford are both really good players. And yeah, I mean, that Son Kane link up is something special, isn't it? So I've got to go Son. Got to go Son.
Brilliant. Spoiler alert with what you just said. So the forward man.
Yeah, I kept in Aubameyang just to keep you happy in the list. And
Glenn's gonna watch this, yeah. So...
yeah. Spoiler alert: I don't pick Aubameyang. But yeah, I've got to go the main man, Harry Kane. If he continues his scoring run, definitely in the conversation for the best Premier League striker in history. His goal scoring form has been so consistent over the years, and yeah, he's even at international level, he's been really consistent there as well, England captain. And possibly, I think probably you could put him up there in the top 3-4 strikers in world football right now. He's just so good, and he's added to his game this season by almost dropping back and providing more in terms of his passing range. And I don't think we've seen that before from him, but now we know that he's got in the locker. We could probably see him when his career goes on and he gets a bit older. We could see him dropping back and back further down the pitch, a bit like Rooney done. I think we could see something similar to that, but no doubt in my mind, he'll probably go down as one of the best to ever put on an England shirt and one of the best to ever play in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. But I think what he's done, I think because his body he's had a lot of injuries in his career. Like every season, Kane has a bad injury. I think he has dropped off a bit more from being a proper target man to save his legs as well. I think he's using a lot more intelligence. And I agree. I think in maybe 3 or 4 years, he will become that Rooney type. But the difference between him and Rooney, I actually think Kane can ping a better ball than Rooney. I think his assisted through balls are better. Some of the balls he's put through to Heung-min Son this season have been outrageous, haven't they? Absolutely brilliant. So, so before we go to your captain, you happy with your team? Any regrets so far? All good?
I'm happy with my team, 100%.
Fantastic. So now we'll go to who would captain this unbelievable team. Could you imagine this team? It would wipe out all of football.
It would. It would. I don't know if any team in the world could even compete with them. And I mean, there's a lot of leaders in that dressing room as well. There's a lot of them. I have to think quite a bit about who I'd want as captain. I'd probably go for my captain. I'd probably go Harry Kane, to be honest, because, you know, he's led the line for Spurs. He's led the line for England. And he's got just a bit more experience than the other players in that team, in my opinion. I think he's been going a bit longer than the other players. So I'm going to go Harry Kane. He's a leader on and off the pitch. Great example on and off the pitch. And he's going to lead my line as the captain.
You're right about great leader off the pitch. When do you ever hear anything about Harry Kane?
You don't. You just don't.
You know, it's fantastic.
I was watching the classic, you know, when the England players turn up to St George's Park and they you just see the video of them getting out the cars and walking in. I don't know why I watch it, but I really do enjoy it. And Harry Kane is just there buzzing about, like welcoming everyone, and he everything he does, he's not even consciously doing it, I don't think, but he's just being that leader and that role model. And I think for the kids of today, they're going to be looking up to Harry Kane like I did with the Gerrards, the Lampards. You know, he's that sort of mould of player that kids are going to look up to these days.
Agree. Absolutely brilliant. Well said. So, Ben, thanks a lot for joining, man. It was in the works for a little bit, but it was great. Yeah. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Was it all right? A bit different?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Good to make my team put my opinion out there. And,
yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna plug the shit out of it, mate. Don't worry about that. And finally, before we go, where can they follow you?
FPL graduates everywhere, pretty much. So, we've got Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, you name it. We're there. Just FPL graduates.
And he's brought TikTok onto Twitter, so I watched my first TikTok video of the FPL graduates. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I thought the FPL community needed to be blessed with our TikToks, because I think there's a few of them that haven't quite got an account yet. We're trying to force this movement, you know. Glenn needs to get a TikTok. Ray, you need to get one as well. We're on the case at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, like Ben said, please follow their content. I'm a huge advocate and fan of their actual channel. I think he and Josh have a fantastic dynamic. You could tell they're friends. They're also educated in the space of FPL. They're genuinely, I think, really good guys as well. You know, when I was on their show, they were very accommodating with times and stuff like that. I kind of love the FPL Fridays. I love some of the Maverick picks that goes on, especially with Ben. You know, he's more of a die. He's more of a die on his shield kind of guy. Like
if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down hard. You know,
go down swinging. Come out.
Exactly.
But again, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll leave all the links below in regards to following the lads. They're absolutely brilliant, and hopefully we'll do something again in the future with them. So thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep.